Guys, good morning. All right. Now let's start with the session. The topic which I'm going to take today is how we can integrate, how we can connect one Salesforce environment with the another Salesforce environment. So we have discussed this in the last session that basically there are two forms of integrations. And prior to that, what actually means by the integration that we have discussed in the last session, which was actually an introductory session about what does integration actually meant to be. So basically, when we say integration, we means that we are connecting Salesforce with another environment. Now that second environment, which we are connecting, is usually called as third-party system or external system, right? So there are two forms of integrations. Like you can do this without writing a code by using certain tools, by using certain configuration kind of thing. We can perform the integrations. There are a lot many tools for that as well. Uh, I mean, Salesforce, like Salesforce is creating and developing something called as MuleSoft. So with the help of MuleSoft, the declarative integrations where the programming is not required, although is being creating. Otherwise, I have also shown you one example with the Outlook integrations. So we can connect the Salesforce with the Outlook as well. That is also you have seen. Now, Now we are going to take one example related to this because rest everything what apart from this we are going to learn would be the programmatic integrations where we are going to perform the integration with the help of writing certain codes and all. But let's take one example, just a simple example for this, which would be like Salesforce to Salesforce, how you connect one Salesforce environment to the another Salesforce environment, right? And this is just a step-by-step guided steps. It's a point by point. You have to follow what has been written inside in this document, and you would be able to connect two Salesforce environments, right? But before I would start this, let me tell you one thing that this has a very limited scope. I mean, once we connected the Salesforce with another Salesforce, what maximum we could transfer is just a single record. The maximum what we could transfer from one Salesforce environment to the another Salesforce environment, that would be just a single record. So that's the reason, if you remember, I mean, I was telling this in the last session that I haven't performed this, I haven't used this in real time. In my entire career, I haven't used, but this is again something, this is not again something which we have to skip. So I believe that, once you should know this, that is enough to understand. But this is not a topic we should skip. I mean, I don't recommend this, although, all right. But it's rarely being used. It's rarely being used. But this is a topic which we should know. At least we should know. All right. So that if something, in the future, if probably any one of us would require to do this, we can immediately come back to this document, maybe watch this video once again, and we can perform this type of Salesforce to Salesforce integrations. All right. So when saying Salesforce to Salesforce integration, we're going to have two Salesforce environment. We're going to have two Salesforce environment, and from one of them, we would be going to transfer a record. The another one would going to receive that record. All right. The environment from which you would be transferring is generally called as provider. Or there are a lot many names like sender. All right. Source, you can also say as like, source environment. So there could be multiple names of that. The environment on which we would be receiving, is called as subscriber, or it is called as receiver, or it is called as, in short, destination. It is called as destination. So these are some of common terminologies that you should have to remember, that from the environment from where we are transferring the parameters, not parameters actually, we are going to transfer the records of certain objects. So the environment of Salesforce, the organization, the org, from where we would be transferring the record is called as sender in simple, or source, or provider, On the other hand, the other environment where we are going to receive that record, which is called a subscriber. You can call this as a receiver environment or destination environment, right? So these are some of the common terminologies you would going to require. Now, what I'm going to do would be like, I would require two different environments for this. So what I did is like, I have I have taken like your 208 batch, 208, this one. This I have taken as uh, I would be taking this as a source environment. I mean, the environment of Salesforce from where I'm going to transfer the records. All right. So the source environment, the publisher environment would be 208, which I have open in Google Chrome. As you can see, this I have open in the Google Chrome. On the other hand, 206 is the another environment which I have taken in the Firefox. I have logged in into two separate environments over here. I would require to change the password. Just give me a moment. I 1 second. I'd quickly change the password. Yes, I'm sharing my screen once again. So, so this is that environment of 206, right? So here, this would be going to be our destination environment, the receiver environment where we are going to receive. I'll do one more thing. Let me quickly branch ourselves to the Salesforce Classic. You can do this with like Lightning as well. There's no issue. But let's do this in the Classic. All right. So now 208 batch, that means your batch, and this environment would be acting as a source environment. From here, we are going to publish, and this another environment, 20, 6 environment. So this is going to be the receiver environment, right? So we have two separate environments with us. Now, let's try to understand what does it means by Salesforce to Salesforce integration, which is a pretty simple thing. And I haven't seen this, I haven't used this in real time, although but again, I'm saying that there is no meaning, there is no meaning to skip this. This is a very small thing, and let's just finish this up. All right. So we first of all would require, as you can see, I'm just going to follow every step which is being written over here. So we first of all would require to send an invitation from from the source environment. Like we are going to invite this destination environment 206 that I wanted from here, from the source environment. I would be sending an invitation that we wanted you to get connected with us so that we can share a certain data between us. So the first step of this is to send the invitation. We have to send the invitation from the provider, from the sender, from the publisher to the subscriber, from the provider to the consumer, from sender to the receiver. All right. So how to do that? How to send the invitation? So you first of all would have to enable Salesforce to Salesforce, and which actually in this case, in the developer edition, this setting usually is always enabled. The accounts which we are using is a free developer account, and usually the Salesforce to Salesforce, the Salesforce to Salesforce is usually enabled, right? So why I have taken you into Salesforce Classic, because I wanted you to understand with all this navigation. That's the reason I have reverted you back to the Salesforce Classic, right? So we would going to first of all check for this, or if it is not enabled, we are going to enable this. What we are going to enable in the setting, Salesforce to Salesforce. So you first of all would require to go to the setup menu. Inside in the setup menu, you'll have to go with the customize. And when you expand the customize, you are going to see something called as Salesforce to Salesforce, isn't it? See this, Salesforce to Salesforce, right? You can click or you can just open and expand. It's one and same thing. So, oh yes, as you can see, it's not enabled over in this case, but I have seen in most of the cases, this setting is already enabled. But anyways, even if it is not enabled, you first of all would require to enable this setting. That means you are enabling this Salesforce environment to get connected with some other Salesforce environment. So this is very first step. All right. And how to do that? You first of all would require to follow this navigation, go to setup, go to build, and go to customize. Inside in customize, you're going to find a direct link for Salesforce to Salesforce setting. Now let me click this edit button and I would be enabling, but before enabling, there's a warning message over here. Some of the settings inside in the Salesforce, there are a few of the settings which once you enable, you cannot revert it back. So you have to be very cautious. You must have a very strong reasons while you are enabling those kinds of settings. This is one of them. There were a few examples, like we have taken multiple currency settings. If you remember, the multiple currency settings is also something. Once you enable that, once you enable that, there is no, there is no way to revert that. All right. So there are a few of the things that would create a permanent impression on metadata, and it cannot be reverted back. So this is one of those kinds of setting where if you would enable this, you would not going to get the chance to revert it back. So enabling Salesforce to Salesforce is not reversible, right? So you should be very, you should be very clear. You should have a absolute clarity with this, why I'm doing this, right? So I am enabling this for now, and once I have checked this checkbox, I am saving this. And now, as you can see, I have enabled this, right? I have enabled this environment of Salesforce to be get connected with other environments as well. So, all right. Now that was my first step. That was my first step. Now, the second step, as a second step, inside in the provider, provider means sender. You can create any account. You can create a record of any object. This is just an example. Don't ever assume that when I have written account means you can do this with the only account. No, it's not like that. You can do this with any object. All right. So now we would first of all take an object, create a record. That's simple like this. All right. तो हमको एक ऑब्जेक्ट लेंगे, उसके अंदर एक रिकॉर्ड बनाएंगे. जैसे इस केस में मैंने एग्जांपल के तौर पर लिखा है, क्रिएट एन अकाउंट रिकॉर्ड. क्रिएट एन अकाउंट रिकॉर्ड. ठीक है, उसके बाद में उससे एक रिलेटेड आप कॉन्टैक्ट बनाओगे. You would be first of all creating an account, then creating a related contact. The most important part over here, when you would be creating that related contact, देखिए अकाउंट में ईमेल आईडी फील्ड नहीं होती. आई गेस अब तक ये सब कुछ जान चुके होंगे आप लोग. कॉन्टैक्ट में ईमेल आईडी फील्ड होता है, अकाउंट में ईमेल आईडी फील्ड नहीं होता. हाँ, आपको चाहिए तो यू कैन डेफिनेटली क्रिएट अ कस्टम ईमेल फील्ड ओवर देयर, जिसका डेटा टाइप आप ईमेल रख सकते हो. मैं डिफॉल्ट जो स्टैंडर्ड फील्ड्स है उनकी बात कर रहा हूँ. तो यहाँ एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप होती है, बहुत 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 इंपॉर्टेंट. और वो स्टेप ये होती है कि जो कांटेक्ट आप क्रिएट करोगे, इसके रिलेटेड कांटेक्ट जो भी आप क्रिएट करोगे, उस कांटेक्ट का ईमेल आईडी जो है वो आपके जो आपका रिसीवर है, जो आपका सब्सक्राइबर है, या जो आपका डेस्टिनेशन एनवायरनमेंट है, उसका ईमेल आईडी होना चाहिए. ये दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप. सो व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू वुड बी लाइक क्विकली आई वुड गो टू दिस इज माय डेस्टिनेशन एनवायरनमेंट. हाउ यू कैन गेट दिस ईमेल आईडी, वैसे मुझे पता है, मतलब मैं एक तरीका बता रहा हूँ. यू कैन गो टू द कंपनी प्रोफाइल एंड कंपनी इन्फॉर्मेशन. फ्रॉम द कंपनी इन्फॉर्मेशन यू आर गोइंग टू सी द ईमेल आईडी ऑफ दैट. हाँ, अदरवाइज नहीं नहीं ऐसा नहीं नहीं. व्हाई वी आर गोइंग लाइक दिस? व्हेन वी हैव क्रिएटेड दिस अकाउंट, वी क्रिएटेड अ यूजर, इजंट इट? जब हमने अकाउंट बनाया था, कोई भी अकाउंट, तो वी हैव क्रिएटेड अ यूजर. सो दैट यूजर, विद दैट यूजर, जब डेवलपर एडिशन आपने क्रिएट किया था, तो आपने वो यूजर बनाया था, तो उस यूजर को भी आप क्लिक करते हो तो वहां से भी आपको मिल जाता है ईमेल आईडी. और हमने ये किया था कि यूजर नेम, यूजर नेम आई हैव टेकन दिस एज एन ईमेल आईडी. तो यहाँ से भी मिल सकता है आपको, या फिर आप इसको ओपन करके भी ले सकते हो. जैसे ओपन विद दैट यूजर नेम, यहाँ से भी आपको उसका ईमेल आईडी मिल जाता है ना. सो दिस इज द वे. तो मैं क्या करूंगा कि आई एम गोइंग टू टेक दिस, आई वुड बी गोइंग टू टेक दिस, ये जो हमारा ईमेल आईडी है, ठीक है, ये वाला. दिस आई वुड बी गोइंग टू कॉपी एंड आई इनसाइड इन द कॉन्टैक्ट जो मैं क्रिएट करने वाला हूँ, उसका ईमेल आईडी मैं, दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप. ये सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है, याद रखिए. चलो, सो लेट्स गो टू द सोर्स एनवायरनमेंट. गूगल क्रोम इज माय सोर्स एनवायरनमेंट, 208 इज माय सोर्स, 206 is destination. I'm going to the account. I'm going to the account, and here I would be creating a new account record with the name like, like Salesforce. Salesforce to Salesforce. Okay, this is the name. Uh, let's say record number one. Type, I would be creating as prospect, engineering, annual revenue, somewhere around this. Then, I guess we already have a rule in place to create the contact. because number of contacts ये एक मैंने trigger बना रखा है. Let me do one thing first of all. Let me disable everything out of this context. मैं पूरा disable कर देता हूँ. उसके बाद हम ये सब करते हैं. Because I don't wanted any rule to be get fired automatically. So I would be going with develop and apex triggers. I think we already have a trigger, contact trigger, create contacts, and this is in active state. So I would be disabling this trigger. I wanted to do this manually. I don't want it to get happens automatically. So what is this contact trigger? Let's see to this. It's already inactive. अच्छा ये roll up summary वाला trigger है हमारा, ठीक है. And we also were having one rule in place where I guess it was workflow or process builder. Let me try to see, which was creating contacts for the accounts, new lead. I guess it was a process builder. Let me first of all disable everything out of this. I guess we created a rule, we created a business automation where create related contact, and this is in active state. All right, that's good. That's good. Fine. So once I would be creating this, once I would be creating this account for that account, no contact is going to be created automatically. Yeah, there's a rule which asks you every time to select fax and website. There's a trigger for that. We have written that trigger. Now see, there's no contact created although, so it's a good thing. I wanted to do this manually. Now, I would be creating a related contact. I would be creating a related contact, SF2 SF integration. The last name would be SF2 SF. Last name would be integration, record number 1. The account it has already taken by itself, right? The most important part, what I was trying to say, let me just go back and copy this email ID, sfdc training batch 206@gmail.com. The destination environment, which with you wanted to sync this source, the destination environment, which with you wanted to create a connection. The most important part over here is your inside in the email ID, the contact's email ID should always contain that email ID. This is the most important part. If you miss this part, you are not going to be able to, make this synchronization. So this is absolutely important thing. All right. So now we have this, we have this one contact and one account. So if you go to the account, this is that account. This is that account record. Then there is like one contact related to this. Let's go to this document and see what has been written. Now, once that is being done, once the record is being created and everything, so you should have to go to the step number 3, where you have to send the invitation and map the connection. I mean, you have to send the invitation from the source environment to destination, from provider to consumer, from publisher to the subscriber. All right. So what we have to do, the first send the invitation. So how we are going to do that? So go to the tab bar. I mean, I also don't remember the steps exactly. I'll have to follow the same thing. And then, you have to go to the source environment. There is one tab called as connection. Let me bring that 208. Yeah. So I would require to bring a tab called as connection. There is a tab called as connection. There's a tab called as connection. You would just require to get that tab. Connections. Now I have added this. Let me bring this up a little bit up. So connections, and now let me save this. So now you can see we have a tab called as connections over here. Just click onto this tab connection, right? Click onto this tab connection. You first have added this onto the tab bar. Then click onto this tab connection. You can see it would display all the connected environments. So presently there is no, so the list is blank. Click onto this new button. Click onto this new button. Then you would have to search for that particular contact which you have created. So we just have created one contact over here with the name SF2 SF, right? SF2 SF integration R. So what I'm going to do inside in over here, as you can see, contact selection is mandatory, whereas account is an optional thing. That's why I was saying this is very important to have a contact which would going to have the email ID of your destination environment, right? And that contact we created with a name called SF2SF. I'll just quickly copy this. Go and search it out. Go and search it out. So I would be searching with a contact called SF2 SF. I'll just try to search it. SF2 SF. Yeah. SF2 SF integration R1. So this is that, this is that contact. Once you selected a contact, if it is related to any account, that account has already been taken. All right, isn't it? So this is what, these were the fields. You don't have to select any template. Template is just for like, sending the emails. If you have any selected email template you have created, then you can select, otherwise you can keep it blank. Once you selected all these entities, there is a button called save and send invite. So what is going to be happen after this would be like, once you press this button, one invitation has been drafted and it has been sent to that destination environment. How it's possible? Because in the contact you selected, there is an email ID which belongs to that particular environment. All right, and this is going to be happen internally in the background, so we just don't have to worry about this whole process. So I have clicked on to save and send invite. Right, I have clicked on to your invitation has been sent. Right, what does this means by the publish object? We are coming to that, but the important thing, what you can see, there's an information invitation has been sent. So once you have sent this invitation, what do you have to do? You have to go to receiver and then accept that invitation from the sender. The invitation has been posted. Now we would require to go to the other environment, which is a destination environment, the subscriber environment, the receiver environment, the destination. Right there, we would have to accept this invitation. And how we can accept this invitation? So we first of all would go to require to that email ID. We would require to log in into that email ID. Then we would going to see one email over there that this particular Salesforce environment has requested to get synced with yours. This environment of Salesforce wanted to be get connected with you. So we have to approve it first of all through the email, right? So copy that, let me open that 206. I'll do it one thing. I'll try to open it up from here. As you can see this. So my own company, why my own company? Because this organization name is my own company, right? So that organization has invited you to connect in Salesforce. So training batch 208, right? At my own company has invited you to connect using Salesforce to Salesforce. All right. So if you would allow this feature, so what you can do, you can transfer, you can share the documents in between this. Now, what do you want it to do? If you wanted to accept or decline the invitation, you would have to require to go with this link, right? You would require to go with this link. Just let me copy and try to see whether can we open this inside Firefox or what. So, so my own company has invited your company to get connect. If you accept this invitation, you can share the information on a certain records between your companies. Otherwise, if you don't want, you can decline. Right. So there's, as you can see, there are three buttons: accept, decline, and decide it later. And you obviously know the meanings of all three of them. I don't think it is required to explain what does it means by accept and decline and decide it later. I am accepting this. So I have accepted this connection. I have accepted. Now your connection has been activated. If you would go back, right, and if you would once again, oh sorry, if you would go, because from here you have accepted. If you go back to this connection, and when if you would refresh this, you are going to see the same impression over here as well. Now it is showing you the details of all connections. So connection details. Connection is in active state. Bash, first of all, it's showing you like it is this environment 208 is connected with 206. It's connected with 206 and everything related to that, that is being displayed over here. That is displayed over here. That connection status is showing it. In the green means active. Green means active. Yellow means little bit on hold. And if it is red, means it is disconnected, right? It is disconnected. And then once this has been done, The next step is to publish the objects. Publish the objects. The next step is the publish the object. So when I'm saying I wanted to publish the object, means which object you wanted to expose, which object records you wanted to transfer from this environment, from 208 to 206, from provider to consumer, from source to destination, from publisher to subscriber. Which object? I was saying you that it's possible to share everything. It's possible to share everything, but you become you as a publisher. You have that control in your hand कि भाई कौन से ऑब्जेक्ट का रिकॉर्ड शेयर होना चाहिए और कौन सा ऑब्जेक्ट का नहीं. तो आप जिस किसी ऑब्जेक्ट को पब्लिश करोगे उसी ऑब्जेक्ट के रिकॉर्ड एक्सपोज होते हैं. So that is again in your hand. So go to this publish object and see this every step has been mounted. ये सारा का सारा लिखा हुआ है. कहाँ पर हूं मैं? ये वाली स्टेप है. ये वाली स्टेप कि आपको प्रोवाइडर में जाके आपको ऑब्जेक्ट्स को पब्लिश करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. सो लेट्स गो विद दिस बटन पब्लिश ऑब्लिक अनपब्लिश एंड नाउ यू कैन सी दिस इज द लिस्ट ऑफ ऑल ऑब्जेक्ट्स. ठीक है. इसमें आते हैं आपके मतलब आपके कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट तो सारे ही आ जाते हैं. when we say the standard object, so there are a few of the standard object which can be published. तो कस्टम आपके सारे ही यहाँ पे इफ यू वुड सी दैट आपके जितने भी कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट होंगे बुक बुक ऑथर कैंडिडेट हायरिंग मैनेजर पोजीशंस है ना और भी कोई अगर होगा तो होगा. और स्टैंडर्ड में कुछ ही होते हैं जिसको हम पब्लिश कर सकते हैं. जैसे वी कैन ट्रांसफर लाइक अकाउंट अटैचमेंट देन केस केस कमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटी अपॉर्चुनिटी प्रोडक्ट प्रोडक्ट एंड टास्क. इवेंट्स भी नहीं. ठीक है. सो दीज आर द ओनली सेट ऑफ दोज ऑब्जेक्ट विच कैन बी द रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ दैट ऑब्जेक्ट कैन बी पब्लिश द रिकॉर्ड ऑफ दैट ऑब्जेक्ट कैन बी ट्रांसफर्ड. राइट. जिसमें कस्टम सारे होते हैं. स्टैंडर्ड में देर आर अ फ्यू ऑफ देम. राइट. सो आई वुड बी सिलेक्टिंग अकाउंट. लेट्स से मैं अकाउंट सिलेक्ट करता हूँ कि अकाउंट ऑब्जेक्ट जो है उसका उसको मैं उसके रिकॉर्ड्स को मैंने ट्रांसफर करने की मेरी इच्छा है. राइट. सो नाउ आई हैव सिलेक्टेड दैट. आई हैव सिलेक्टेड. अब इसमें एक चीज होती है कि लाइक व्हेन यू हैव सिलेक्टेड एट अकाउंट ऑब्जेक्ट यू हैव सिलेक्टेड द अकाउंट. सिर्फ इतना ही नहीं, एक स्टेप और है इसमें जो इसमें लिखी है या नहीं पता नहीं. मी सी टू दिस. हाँ, बिल्कुल सही. सो वंस यू हैव सिलेक्टेड द ऑब्जेक्ट, जैसे आपने ऑब्जेक्ट सिलेक्ट कर लिया तो एक स्टेप और है इसमें. हाँ, देखिए क्यों नहीं है. ठीक है. हैज नॉट बिन रिटन ओवर हियर. और मे बी मुझे पूरा पढ़ना पड़ेगा अगर कहीं लिखी होगी तो. इसके बाद में एक स्टेप और होती है और वो स्टेप ये होती है कि वंस यू हैव सिलेक्टेड द ऑब्जेक्ट यू हैव टू गो विद द एडिट बटन. आप एडिट बटन पे जाएं, इसको क्लिक करें एंड नाउ यू आर गोइंग टू सी ऑल ऑफ द फील्ड्स ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर ऑप्शन. जैसे आपने अकाउंट सिलेक्ट कर रखा है कि आई वांटेड टू. अच्छा, यू कैन इवन डू दिस विद मोर देन वन ऑब्जेक्ट. ऐसा मत सोचो कि आप एक ही ऑब्जेक्ट सिलेक्ट कर सकते हो. राइट. आई कैन फॉर एग्जाम्पल अकाउंट्स आई हैव सिलेक्टेड. मैं अकाउंट का शेयर करना चाहता हूँ. ठीक है. एट द सेम टाइम आई वांटेड टू शेयर द पोजीशन एज वेल. तो यू कैन सिलेक्ट मल्टीपल ऑब्जेक्ट्स. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. जितनी भी लिस्ट है आपकी. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे भी दो ऑब्जेक्ट आपके पब्लिश्ड हो गए. नाउ सी आई क्लिक ऑन टू दिस एडिट बटन. नाउ एडिट में जाने के बाद में यू कैन इवन सिलेक्ट दोज फील्ड्स कि आप जब अकाउंट का रिकॉर्ड ट्रांसफर करना चाहते हो तो कौन कौन सी फील्ड्स का डेटा ट्रांसफर होना चाहिए. दैट इज अगेन इन योर कंट्रोल. जैसे मैं फैक्स. ठीक है. उसके बाद में अकाउंट फोन अकाउंट का रेटिंग अकाउंट का टाइप एक्टिव स्टेटस देन एनुअल रेवेन्यू and then billing city, let's say, and then these all were the fields inside the account. Industry value I wanted to get synced, ownership, and then I mean site, right? So these are the fields of account which I wanted to. I mean, if a record is getting synced, if a record is getting transferred from this environment to other one, I wanted only these field data to be get transferred. So once that selection of fields has been done, you can save it. Same I'm going with the position as well. So position में जाता हूँ मैं. I'll click onto this edit. देखो name because that's a mandatory field is automatically selected. I wanted to sync like contact number, HR email ID. whether that's an immediate joiner, location, name, maximum budget, milestone, number of vacancies, open date, passport require, position description, position record count. That's a roll up summary field. I don't want it. Let's see. Position status. Reference ID is an auto number. Again, I don't. Skill required, travel required. These two were the checkboxes. Yeah. So I have selected these fields from the position. Right. I have selected these fields from the position. Now, once that has been done, once that has been done, what is the next step? Once you have selected, once you have selected the object as well as you have selected the fields of that object, once that part is done, now this in the next step, you can go to the consumer, you can go to the destination environment, and there you have to, you have to follow these steps. So what are these steps? Click onto the connection, then establish a link and everything. Let me do that. So I would be going to, over here. And then once I'm inside in the connection, I would require here you are required to subscribe. I mean, over here, what you are doing, you are publishing the objects, right? From sender side, you have to publish, and on the receiver end, you have to subscribe. So I would be subscribing for this connection. So I have click onto this, and now you can see like only these two names are appearing over here. तो आप जो जो भी आप पब्लिश करते हो सोर्स एनवायरनमेंट में केवल वही ऑब्जेक्ट्स के नाम यहाँ पर आपने पब्लिश किया है अकाउंट को और पोजीशंस को, तो सिर्फ उनके ही नाम यहाँ पर आते हैं। अभी पहले हम लोग पोजीशंस की जो है लाइन हम पोजीशंस को करते हैं, अकाउंट को करते हैं, वन बाय वन करते हैं। तो सोर्स में एक ऑब्जेक्ट है अकाउंट, वो डेस्टिनेशन में किसके साथ मैच होना चाहिए। सो आप सिलेक्टेड दी अकाउंट। अगर आप ऑटो एक्सेप्ट करते थे, अगर आप ऑटो एक्सेप्ट करते थे तो वो इट वुड ट्राई टू सिलेक्ट बाय इट ऑटोमेटिकली। डेस्टिनेशन में सोर्स में एक ऑब्जेक्ट है पोजीशन, उसको जब हम पब्लिश कर रहे हैं वहां से, तो डेस्टिनेशन में वो किसके साथ मैच होना चाहिए। तो डेस्टिनेशन में भी लेट्स से एक ऑब्जेक्ट है पोजीशन नाम का, ठीक है। तो ये दोनों इस तरह से ये क्या हो गया, आई जस्ट हैव स्टैब्लिश अ कनेक्शन कि भाई वहां से जो रिकॉर्ड आ रहा है अकाउंट का, वो यहाँ डेस्टिनेशन में कौन से ऑब्जेक्ट में जाना चाहिए। वहां से जो रिकॉर्ड आ रहा है पोजीशन ऑब्जेक्ट का, वो यहाँ डेस्टिनेशन में कौन से ऑब्जेक्ट में जाना चाहिए। So this mapping, object to object mapping, is what we have just finished. Now, once you would save this, now this connection has been perfectly established. All right. अब ये हो चुका है. This is what it is called as PubShub. PubShub यानी publisher and subscriber. This is something called as PubShub, publisher and subscriber. All right. Now, once this has been done, once you have published from source, and you have subscribed it on destination. All right. Once that portion is done, now it's absolutely ready to transfer the data. It's absolutely ready to transfer the data. So now what you have to do is like, let me read it out. मैं अभी भूल गया हूँ इसको. I guess यहाँ पे भी we would require to, yes, this was a very important step which I have forgotten. So मैं कहाँ पर हूँ, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई एम ऑन टू दी गूगल क्रोम which means आई एम ऑन डेस्टिनेशन एनवायरनमेंट 206 में हूँ। यू जस्ट हैव लाइक ऑब्जेक्ट मैपिंग तो आपने कर दी, बट फील्ड मैपिंग अभी नहीं हुई है। तो द सेम स्टेप जैसे आपने पब्लिशर में किया था एडिट करके, अभी सब्सक्राइबर में सब्सक्राइब्ड ऑब्जेक्ट्स में जो ऑब्जेक्ट्स सब्सक्राइब्ड हुई है उसमें एडिट में जाइए, एंड एडिट में जाने के बाद में यू वुड गोइंग टू सी कि जो रिकॉर्ड आएगा उसमें ये सारी फील्ड्स हमने वहां सिलेक्ट करी थी। तो यहाँ डेस्टिनेशन में ये किस में आएंगी। तो एक तरीका तो ये होता है कि यू इंडिविजुअली सिलेक्ट इट आउट, यू इंडिविजुअली सिलेक्ट एवरी फील्ड। जैसे मैं फैक्स के लिए आई वुड बी सिलेक्टिंग अकाउंट फैक्स, एंड द सेकंड एंड द आई मीन व्हिच इज रिकमेंडेड इज लाइक ये जो चेक बॉक्स दिख रहा है आपको, इसको ऑटो मैप कर दो। सो इट हैज टेकन एंड अ सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ इंटरफेस इफ यू वुड रिमेंबर, हमने जब डेटा लोडर पढ़ा था बॉस, तो डेटा लोडर में वी वर डूइंग द सेम थिंग, फील्ड मैपिंग्स वी वर ट्राइंग टू डू दैट, राइट। तो हम फील्ड मैपिंग किया करते थे, इफ यू वुड हैव रिमेंबर दिस डेटा लोडिंग के टाइम पे। तो दिस इज अ सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ इंटरफेस कि अगर जो सेंडर से डेटा आ रहा है उसमें एक रिकॉर्ड है, उसमें एक फील्ड अकाउंट फैक्स, वो डेस्टिनेशन में अकाउंट ऑब्जेक्ट की कौन सी फील्ड में जाना चाहिए। तो दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव टेकन। अब ये कैसा स्टैंडर्ड ऑब्जेक्ट है, नेम इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी चेंज इन एल्सवेयर, राइट। कोई भी एनवायरमेंट है नेम तो सेम रहेगा। सो दैट्स द रीजन आई हैव टेकन ऑटो मैप। नाउ वंस दिस हैज बीन डन, आई एम सेविंग दिस। Now I'm going to repeat the same thing for position object as well. Position में जाओ, subscribe object में edit पे click करो. Now here, either you can go with, like ऐसा auto map, और या फिर आप आप जो है उसको जा सकते हो इंडिविजुअली भी। अब यहाँ पे देख सकते हो आप इमीडिएट ज्वाइनर, यहाँ पे इट्स नॉट अवेलेबल, इट्स नॉट अवेलेबल, देयर इज नथिंग फॉर दिस। तो मे बी यहाँ पर वो फील्ड ही नहीं है। इमीडिएट ज्वाइनर ऑल्दो इज अ पिक लिस्ट, यस और नो है, यस और नो फील्ड हमने बनाई है। बट डेस्टिनेशन एनवायरनमेंट, डेस्टिनेशन एनवायरनमेंट में ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। तो ये वाला जो फील्ड है, इसका डेटा सिंक नहीं होगा, वो यहाँ पे बता देता है। बाकी तो सब सही दिख रहा है मुझको, so I'm just going to save it out. All right, so this is what we just have completed with the field mapping. Field mapping भी हमने कर ली. Now, if that is also being done, I guess we are good to transfer the data. Let me just read out the steps. Now we are good to transfer the data. All right. इसके लिए आपको एक चीज और करनी पड़ती है. Just guys give me 2 minutes. मैं वापस रिकॉर्डिंग पॉज कर रहा हूँ, 2 मिनट में वापस आता हूँ, फिर हम उसको कंप्लीट करते हैं. Yes. So the next step, once everything has been done, like connection has been established, we have published the objects as well. Then inside in the object, we also have selected what are those fields that we wanted to, the data of what fields which we wanted to transfer. So that is being done from the source environment. Now, in the same, like we go to the destination, there we have subscribed those objects, and we then, even if we have mapped the fields, right? We have mapped the connection between fields to fields. That is also been done. That means this everything has been set up properly, and we are good to go with the record sharing. So I'm going with the Google Chrome, and this is my by the way, this is my source environment. And which objects data you can transfer? You have published only account and position. So I would going with the, let's say, account object, right? That's account object. And inside in the account object, I wanted to transfer, for example, let me just try to click on to all accounts. And then I'll just try to go with any custom record. I guess I have seen something like, all right. So, uh, 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 all right, so we have a record like Rahat Khan, right? This is an account record which I wanted to be get transferred, right? I wanted this record. If you would go to the destination and if you try, like, if you go with accounts, you will not going to find any such record with this name. So I'll go with all accounts, and let me see that do I have any account which name as Rahat. So you can see all of the accounts have been listed. There is no such record over here with that name. All right. So I would be transferring this record. I would be transferring this account record from source to destination. But for that, for this purpose, you should have one related list, like you have contacts, opportunity, and everything, and notes and attached. This is what this is related list section. You have to add one section over here. So how to do that is pretty simple. You know this, right? I would be going with the force access quick menu, and I'll go with edit layout. I'm actually editing this layout now. I would go to the related list for this, the related list. And these are the related lists presently, like there is an account, opportunity, cases, notes, and let's say we don't want a notes and attachment, we can remove that. This customization is something we already have studied. Now here you have to add one additional related list with the name external sharing. Do you see that? External sharing, right? This is what you have to add. So I will just add it like, I'll add it inside and over here, right? External sharing. And I would just quickly save this. Now this I would have to do with position as well, because the second object what we have published is position. So you'll have to go to layout first of all, and edit layout, and I'll have to add this over here as well, right? So I would quickly go to the related list section, and then we have an external sharing. So right now we have all these open activities and everything. I don't want open activities, activity history, notes and attachment would be their candidate. And I would be adding this external sharing, right? So this has to be done. This has to be done with the objects which you have published, right? So now we have this account record, which I wanted to, let's say I wanted to transfer this account. So go to that external sharing. go to that external sharing in the related list. It would or not, obviously, it would not be there automatically. You would have to add it. How to do that, we just have seen. Now, you see this button, forward this account. Go to external sharing, forward this account. I'm just making a click over there. I'm just making a click over there. So available connection. I mean, this is 208 environment. Now to how many environments to which this is connected, they all are going to be listed out over here. Let's consider कि ये तीन चार environment से connected होता तो वहाँ सारे नाम लिख के आ रहे होते थे. But presently because we just have make an connection with 206, तो यहाँ उसी का नाम है. I'm selecting that connection. I'm selecting that connection and I would be saving this, right? अगर आपको email notification चाहिए, you have any special template for this, then click, otherwise ignore करो and then save it, right? And then save it. So now this record has been externally transferred. ये record जो है externally share हो चुका है. अब यहाँ status इसका pending है because वहां से accept नहीं करा है हमने. Let me do this with one of the position record as well. तो मैं एक position record पे जाता हूँ. Position record called as software tester. These all are the details of that. I wanted to share this. So go with this external sharing related list and click onto this forward this position. I'm forwarding this to this particular organization and let me now save this. Right. So this record has been shared, but externally. Status is pending because we still haven't accepted this from the receiver, haven't accepted this yet. All right. So once that has been done, I will go with the account. I would go to the account and I guess it's not over here. We'll have to go to the connections if I'm not wrong. I just forgot that step. Mm, Right. No, that would be there automatically. All right. So I'm going with the list of account, all accounts, and let me see whether we got this record called Rahat Khan. It's not coming. I'm missing something. So, no, that has to be here. Positions. What is that which is I'm missing? Software tester, all positions. All right, let me try to see this from connections. Just a moment. So everything seems to be perfect. Hmm. Just a moment, guys. Just a moment. There is something which I'm missing. Fox position sent. यहाँ से तो sent 206 को. This is 206. And for the position, there is something, a glitch is being happening. Let me just try to debug. We must got email regarding this. email आना चाहिए हम. ये तो ठीक है 201 कर दिया. कहीं तो भी कुछ तो भी है जो नहीं हो रहा. बट वी वेर ऑन टू द राइट ट्रैक. हमारी तरफ से नहीं है कुछ भी. इट इज समथिंग इंटरनली विच इज हैपनिंग. आई गेस हमको कोई ना कोई ईमेल मिलना चाहिए यहाँ पे. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा पेंडिंग रखते हैं इसको. एंड वी वुड सी टू दिस इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन. क्यों नहीं आ रहा रिकॉर्ड? बिकॉज देयर इज नथिंग अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस. There's nothing apart from this. We have followed almost every step. Let me just cross verify it once again. So हमने पहले कनेक्शन एस्टैब्लिश किया, इनविटेशन सेंड किया, इनविटेशन को एक्सेप्ट किया, ऑब्जेक्ट पब्लिश किया, फील्ड सिलेक्ट किया, सब्सक्राइबर में जाके ये भी किया. उसके बाद हमने रिलेटेड टैब ऐड किया एंड देन वी हैव शेयर्ड अ रिकॉर्ड. We followed every step, boss. We haven't missed out anything. If this record is not getting committed, there is something which is happening internally. And I think we must receive an email regarding this. Just go to 206 पे कुछ आया है क्या? ठीक है. Give me some time to debug what internally is happening, because there is no other step apart from this what we just have committed. There's nothing else beyond this. This record ideally has to become over here. Yes. Fine. Give me some time to look into this, why this is happening. If something would come, if I would receive any email related to that, I'm going to share that with you guys. Otherwise, I'm going to see why this is not syncing. All right. One last try. Let me try with certain other account record. Just give me a moment. I will do one thing. Let me just create one new account. Or we have that Salesforce to Salesforce, right? Salesforce to Salesforce. Let me try with this one. So I would be forwarding this account to this particular, and I wanted to also get us email notification. All right. Now let me go to this and let's see whether we got something called Salesforce to Salesforce. No. No, it is not getting synced. There's something which is happening internally. I'll have to debug this. All right, guys, that's all I can teach you for today, right? Let me see to this why this is happening. I'll come back the solution for this one. That's all for today.